Hello everyone, welcome to our Comments and Answers JW channel. I hope you are all doing well. In this video, we will analyze and respond to the questions from the study of the Watchtower for this week, covering March 4th to 10th, titled, Trust in Jehovah and You Will Conquer Fear. Without further ado, let's begin. Let's look at question number 1. Why can we feel fear from time to time? Fear is a natural emotion that we all experience in certain situations. In Luke chapter 21, verse 11, we see that we can feel fear due to difficult circumstances we face in life, such as conflicts, illnesses, and personal challenges. On the other hand, in Isaiah chapter 41, verse 10, we understand that instead of allowing fear to paralyze us, we can find strength in faith and trust that Jehovah is with us at all times. Therefore, by trusting in God and His promises, we can face our fears with courage and hope. Let's move on to question number 2. What happened when David came to Gath? In 1 Samuel chapter 21, verses 10 to 12, we see that when David came to Gath, he felt fear realizing that his identity as a warrior who had defeated many Philistines could endanger him before King Achish. However, we will see that to overcome his fears, David acted with cunning, and despite being afraid, he demonstrated confidence in Jehovah. Let's proceed to question number 3. According to Psalm 56 verses 1 to 3, 11, what helped David overcome his fears? According to the texts we just read, what helped David overcome his fears was his confidence in Jehovah. David recognized that God was on his side and promised to trust him in the midst of difficulties. Knowing that God was in his favor, David could face his fears with courage and determination, as we see in 1 Samuel chapter 21, verse 13, to chapter 22, verse 1. This confidence in Jehovah allowed him to develop a clever plan to escape from his dangerous situation in Gath, where he pretended to be insane to prevent King Achish from seeing him as a threat. Thus, faith and confidence in Jehovah were essential for David to overcome his fears and find a way out. Let's move on to question number 4. How can we strengthen our confidence in Jehovah? Give an example. We can strengthen our confidence in Jehovah by reflecting on His past actions, how He cares for us today, and His promises for the future. For example, when facing a negative medical diagnosis, we trust in a good doctor who has successfully treated many patients. Similarly, we trust that Jehovah listens attentively and understands our concerns, as stated in Isaiah chapter 41, verse 10. Reflecting on these words can strengthen our confidence in Jehovah and help us face our fears with hope and courage, just as David did in Psalm 56. Let's move to the first subtitle, What did Jehovah do in the past? Let's look at question number 5. What did David meditate on to overcome his fear? According to the texts we have read, David meditated on the good things that Jehovah had done in the past. Remembering God's powerful and loving actions in history provided David with comfort and strength. For example, in Psalm chapter 65, verses 6 to 9, we see how David meditated on Jehovah's creation, reminding him of God's power and love towards humanity. He also reflected on the blessings that Jehovah had bestowed on many others. In Psalm chapter 22, verses 9 and 10, we read that David dedicated time to remember what Jehovah had done for him personally from his childhood to the present moment. Therefore, Jehovah strengthened David's confidence, helping him face his fears with courage. Illustration: images of David reflecting on the ways Jehovah had helped him and was helping him. 1. As a young man, David uses a staff to fight off an attacking bear. 2. He reaches out his hands for Ahimelech to give him Goliath's sword. 3. He is anointed with oil. David strengthened his confidence in Jehovah by focusing on what he had done, what he was doing, and what he would do. Let's move on to question number 6. In the face of fear, what will help us trust in Jehovah? In the face of fear, trusting in Jehovah will help us find comfort and strength. To cultivate this trust, we can remember what Jehovah has done in the past. First, by observing his creation, such as birds and flowers, we recognize his loving care, assuring us that he will also take care of us, as seen in Matthew chapter 6, verses 25 to 32. On the other hand, it is also important to remember what we see in 1 John chapter 5, verse 14, where we are reminded of how Jehovah has guided us and answered our prayers in the past, demonstrating his love and personal care for us. Additionally, by meditating on Jesus' sacrifice and its daily benefits for us, we find a solid foundation to trust in Jehovah. Illustration: images of a brother in prison reflecting on the ways Jehovah has helped him and will continue to help him. 1. Studying the Bible with a fellow inmate. On the table, there is an ashtray and some cigarettes. 2. Reading a letter in his cell. 3. In the paradise, teaching an Israelite resurrected about Jehovah. We strengthen our confidence in Jehovah by focusing on what he has done, what he is doing, and what he will do. Let's move on to question number 7. How did Daniel's experience help Vanessa? Facing an intimidating situation, Vanessa took practical measures to protect herself and sought the help of authorities. However, she also turned to her faith in Jehovah. Daniel's experience helped Vanessa overcome her fear by reminding her of how Jehovah had protected his servants in the past. In Daniel chapter 6, verses 12 to 22, we see how, even though Daniel was thrown into a den of lions for obeying God, Jehovah rescued and protected him from all danger. By recalling Daniel's story, Vanessa recognized that, just as Jehovah had cared for his servants in the past, he would also be present to protect her in her current situation. Remembering this gave her comfort and strength, allowing her to overcome her fear and trust in divine protection. Let's move to the second subtitle, What is Jehovah doing now? Let's look at question number 8. What was David convinced of? According to the text we just read, David was convinced that Jehovah was guiding and protecting him in the midst of adversity despite the danger he faced. David did not succumb to panic. Instead, he focused on God's active presence in his life. Additionally, as we see in various passages in 1 Samuel, David also found comfort in the help and encouragement provided by loyal friends such as Jonathan and the high priest. Therefore, even though King Saul sought to kill him, David managed to escape unharmed, reinforcing his conviction that Jehovah was aware of his circumstances and was protecting him. This example illustrates how confidence in the active presence of Jehovah helps us face our fears with courage. Let's move on to question number 9. What does Jehovah know about each of us? Jehovah is aware of every aspect of our lives, including our emotions, feelings, and fears. Psalm 103, verse 14, reminds us that Jehovah well knows our formation, and in Psalm 139, verses 1-4, we see how he is familiar with all our ways. Therefore, when we face fears and uncertainties, we can find comfort in the knowledge that Jehovah is fully aware of our situation. Our personal concerns matter to him, and we can trust that he will provide the necessary guidance and support. Let's move on to question number 10. What convinces us that Jehovah cares for us and will always be there to help us? We are convinced that Jehovah cares for us and will always be there to help us based on the evidence of his care and love in our daily lives. This evidence can be found in various ways, such as the spiritual food provided through meetings, conventions, and publications. In addition, the positive experiences and answers to prayers we receive serve as tangible proof of Jehovah's personal interest in our lives. These factors, along with the promises found in the Bible, including Psalm 34, verse 15, give us confidence that Jehovah is attentive to our needs and will always be there to help us. Let's move on to question number 11. What helped Ida overcome her fears? Ida overcame her fears by strengthening her relationship with Jehovah through prayer. In Psalm 34, verse 4, David encourages us to seek Jehovah, and in verse 17, we see that Jehovah listens to the cries of his servants and delivers them from their troubles. Aida's faith in Jehovah and her recognition of how he responds to her prayers provided her with comfort and assurance, enabling her to face the future with confidence and peace. Let's move to the third subtitle, What will Jehovah do in the future? Let's look at question number 12. According to Psalm 56 verse 9, of what was David sure? David was sure that Jehovah would rescue him at the right time. In times of fear and uncertainty, David's confidence in Jehovah's faithfulness and power gave him the certainty that God would come to his aid. We see this expressed in various psalms, including Psalm 27, verses 1-3, where David affirms his trust in Jehovah as his light and salvation, even in the face of enemies. Let's move on to question number 13. What do we know Jehovah will do in the future? We know that Jehovah promises a better future for us. Despite the difficulties we may face in the present, we can trust that God will eliminate all our problems in the new world. This promise is supported by various scriptures, such as Revelation 21, verses 3 and 4, which describe a future where there will be no more pain, suffering, or death. This vision of a new world, free from the influence of Satan, gives us hope and strength to face the challenges of the present with confidence. Let's move on to question number 14. What can we reflect on? We can reflect on the hope that Jehovah offers us for the future. Imagining life in the new world, free from the problems of today, helps us strengthen our hope and confidence in Jehovah. Meditating on the promises found in Isaiah 65, verses 21-24, where Jehovah assures us of security, prosperity, and happiness, reinforces our conviction that a better future awaits us. Let's move on to question number 15. What helped Tanya overcome her fears? Tanya overcame her fears by meditating on Jehovah's promises. In Psalm 46, verse 1, we read that Jehovah is our refuge and strength, a help that is readily found in times of distress. By focusing on the promise of enjoying eternal happiness in the new world, free from pain and suffering, Tanya found comfort and strength to face even the most challenging circumstances. Let's move to the last subtitle, How can we prepare now? Let's look at question number 16. What will help us be brave when what is stated in Luke 21 verses 26 to 28 takes place? Our confidence in Jehovah will help us be brave when the events described in Luke 21 verses 26 to 28 unfold. By cultivating a habit of trusting God in all situations, we prepare ourselves to face difficult times with courage and steadfastness. When we trust in Jehovah's guidance and care, we develop resilience and determination to endure trials, confident that God will provide the strength we need. Let's move on to question number 17. How will the text for the year 2024 help us? The text for the year 2024 will remind us that, despite the things that may cause fear in this world, we can trust in Jehovah. Keeping this text in mind will provide us with the strength needed to face challenges with confidence and faith in God. As we encounter various uncertainties and fears in the world, the text for the year will serve as a constant reminder of Jehovah's presence and our ability to trust in Him. Illustration. A sister standing next to a house destroyed by a disaster holds a Bible and demonstrates confidence. Another sister who has experienced a disaster meditates on the text of the year. Now we will answer the review questions titled, How does meditating on the following help us overcome fear? What Jehovah did in the past. Remembering the powerful and loving actions of God in past history provided David with comfort and strength. Today, we can meditate on the sacrifice of Jesus and its daily benefits for us, providing a solid foundation to trust in Jehovah. What Jehovah is doing now. Jehovah is aware of every aspect of our lives, including our feelings and emotions in times of difficulty. When we face challenging situations and feel scared, let's remember that Jehovah not only knows our circumstances but also our most intimate emotions. What Jehovah will do in the future. Jehovah promises a better future for us, ensuring that in the new world, He will eliminate all our problems. This gives us hope and strength to face current challenges with confidence, knowing that one day we will experience complete peace and happiness in the new world God has promised. Well, these have been the answers from this week's Watchtower study. I hope it has been very helpful for you, my dear brothers and sisters. We will see you next week with a new video. I send you a warm hug, and may Jehovah bless and protect you always.